So something that I'll hear often when I'm talking to someone about veganism is that the other person will say something like, even if I do go vegan, nothing will change. I can't make a difference. And I'll let y'all in a little secret. This might be the time in history where you can make the biggest impact as an individual vegan because there are so few of us. So you can make a disproportionately big impact today than you might have otherwise been able to. So I'm gonna go over a few stories in my own personal life where, as being the only vegan, I was able to make a big difference. So yeah, you can send this to anyone who thinks they won't make a difference because you will. Okay, so the first one, it's not a story. I know, I'm already burning the little trust that I had with you. But I do want to say that just by existing, you're normalizing that there are people out there who don't consume animal products. So the next time you go to like a company event or a dinner party, people will start slowly taking more and more into account that there are people like you who don't eat animal products. And so over time, hopefully menus will start automatically accounting for vegans. In the same way that a lot of menus are a lot more conscious about allergens than they ever were before. And by being vegan, you're also helping people understand what it is that vegans do and don't eat. Because some people aren't really clear about the distinction between vegan and vegetarian. Okay, but so here is the first real story. So I was in Seattle and this was the summer of 2021, and this was my second summer as a vegan, but it was actually my first time ever interacting with friends as a vegan because I spent the majority of 2020 in lockdown. And that's when I went vegan, so these friends didn't even know like the vegan version of me. But anyways, yeah, so we were walking around Capitol Hill, for those of you who know anything about Seattle. And so we were looking for a place to eat, and I was thinking, I don't know, I hope they have something vegan wherever we end up going. Because remember, this is when I was just interacting socially with people as a vegan. Like, I was really new to navigating social situations. And so we were looking for a place to eat, and then I ended up just saying, whatever, I'll just ask if they want to go to a vegan place, you know? And they ended up all being down, so we all went to a vegan place, Plum Bistro, if you've heard of it, which, to be honest, I don't even like that much. But that was like one of the first vegan-only restaurants I'd ever been to, so. But what was cool was that we all went to this place, and I'm pretty sure it was the first time for them ever having, or at least trying, like a vegan restaurant or being exposed to a vegan restaurant. And so that was cool because it was exposure for them, and also we probably saved a few animals' lives that day as well. And so another time afterwards, when I was living in Mexico, I had a sort of similar situation, but I was a little bit braver now that I had had more experience with, you know, interacting socially as a vegan. And so I was gonna get brunch with my friend. And so then I actually just suggested, hey, would you be interested in trying a vegan place with me? And like I said, at first I was a little bit nervous about asking to go to vegan places, but then I realized if they're gonna go to a vegan restaurant with anybody, it's gonna be me, you know? Like, so anyways, that's how I kind of saw it. And so yeah, he was down too, and we went and we had a great time. And it's always awesome to see someone's first reaction going to a vegan restaurant, because if you're vegan, you know what I'm talking about. There's always this shock of, wait, there's cheese, but I thought this place was vegan. And so, you know, you explain, oh, it's probably made from, you know, something else that's not dairy. Yeah, those are just good experiences and a great way to expose other people to vegan restaurants who wouldn't have otherwise been exposed to them. But so anyways, going back to that Seattle summer, then afterwards, I had a friend who was getting married in LA, like a friend back from college. And it was the first time that I was going to a big event as a vegan. So, you know, when they fill out the questionnaires, like, do you have any dietary restrictions? For the first time, I actually had to fill it out because, you know, I had always been used to just saying, yeah, whatever, I am good with anything. And I always just check just in case before the wedding anyways. I like message and I say, hey, like, just checking, like, will there be stuff that I can eat? Because if not, that's cool. Like, I'll eat something beforehand. But my friend said, no, don't worry, you're good, we got you. So I said, okay, great. And so when I showed up at the wedding and we were at the dinner table and I was looking at the menu and they had 3 options. They had 2, you know, regular non-vegan options, and then a vegan option, which surprised me because there wasn't like a vegetarian option or anything. And I'm pretty sure I was the only vegan there. And then I ended up talking to my friend later and he said that, oh yeah, it was actually just easier to make all the vegetarian options into a vegan option rather than serve a bunch of vegetarian options and just give you like a single vegan option. And I thought, wow, that's shocking. Essentially because of me, they took out a vegetarian option that probably would have had dairy in it or something. And for those of you who don't know, cows are also killed in the dairy industry after they don't produce any more milk. Someone's got to think of the bottom line. But anyways, because I played a part in basically removing the dairy from that wedding, at least from the vegetarian option, or what would have been the vegetarian option, I like to think that I saved a cow at this wedding. So hence the title of the video. And then so something similar also happened at my cousin's wedding earlier this year, because they ordered a bunch of pizzas, and about 25% of the pizzas they ordered were margarita pizzas with just I think like tomato sauce and basil, right? It's basil. And that's so that me and my mom, who are vegans, would have something to eat. And so like I was saying, right now you can have a really outsized impact as a vegan, because it's not like we're the only people eating those vegan options. You know, people still love the margarita pizzas, people still loved the vegan option at the wedding in LA. So yeah, you're making a bigger impact than you thought you could. And I talked about this in another story, but a few weeks ago I went to Vienna for a New Year's celebration, and my friend went out and bought a lot of vegan options for me, and he prepared food for me. And he bought like garden chicken, but he also made this huge plate of potatoes and bought all these different hummus dips and different types of chips and nuts and seeds. And maybe that was the first time he actively thought of preparing something vegan or thinking of what is suitable for vegans to eat. And so now the next time he thinks about, well, what do vegans eat? He has a better idea of that. He has more exposure now. Oh, and another thing I used to do when I lived in Seattle for that summer is that every week I would invite a different group of friends over who I hadn't seen in forever, because remember, this is the first time that I was basically out of lockdown. And I'd invite them over to this big dinner, because during lockdown I got really into cooking, and I was really excited to share what I had learned with all my friends. And I wanted to show them they could have really good vegan meals and not feel like they were missing anything. And so I made the main dish, and I also asked them to bring vegan stuff as well. So that also gets them a little bit more exposed to what is and isn't vegan. And yeah, I would make this lemon basil pasta that I got really good at making and everybody loved. One comment I remember I got once was even, if I could eat like this every day, I'd definitely be vegan. And it made me feel good because I was showing people that they could still enjoy their food while being vegan. And honestly, these dinners are great because there's a great opportunity to catch up with everybody. And all these people knew me before I was vegan, so it was a great way to share this new part of my life with them as well. And at one of these dinners, actually, someone brought their wife. That's when you know you're out of college. And we talked a lot about veganism, and she mentioned that her mom was vegan. After that dinner, she ended up going vegan herself. And in my experience, whenever someone I've talked to has gone vegan, it's usually because I'm the second point of contact for them about veganism. So the first person greases them up a bit. And I hope she's still vegan. I think I've only spoken to her maybe once since that summer. But yeah, I hope she's still vegan. That also happened with another friend from my fraternity, where I talked to him about veganism a bit, and he ended up going vegan too. And I wasn't the first person he met that was vegan. The first vegan that he met was his boss, who he really admired already. And so I also want to say that these are instances where people aren't actively going out to do activism. My point is that just by existing and living your daily life, you can make a difference. You will make a difference. And who knows, maybe you'll be the reason the next big activist goes vegan. Maybe you will be the next big activist. And what I also want to add here is that even if you didn't make a difference on a societal level, I don't really think that matters in terms of being vegan or not. Because let's say I lived in a racist community and everybody was racist, and me not being racist wouldn't really change anyone else's opinion. I should still not be racist, So in that sense, even if I'm not making a societal difference, I know that it's the right thing to do. So anyways, let me know if you've had any similar stories down in the comments. Don't forget to take your B12 supplement and consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see y'all in the next one.